Okay guys, so we're out in space. We are near the station. We're ready to dock up should we need to, because we have a couple of people here who are not very friendly to us. But what you'll see now is you'll have 5 tabs. Sarah's overview will come with these tabs, and you can change these tabs to be whatever you want just by clicking into the tab, clicking your little E, and then you'll get to decide all of these preset ones for your tabs. So for instance, I normally have first tab is just for basic travel, which is where we're flying around, following the fleet, system to system. As a natural, this basic travel will also show you any hostiles, so you can have it on when we're moving around. It will show you, but it will also show other stuff that you don't want on the board when we're in the middle of a fight. So I set my second tab up to be a PvP tab, which is that one, which I've changed. You'll see I've taken stations off of it, but I've also added something which I'll show you in a second. I usually have a friendlies tab just because it's nice to know your mates are around. When you first go through a gate and everybody's cloaked, you won't see your fellow fleet mates on here until they uncloak, so don't freak out when nobody's around. I will have a tab set for D-scan, just so that I can scan everywhere and see who's around, who's near me, who's not near me. And then you'll have a tab for get the fuck out, which is what you'll choose when you're about to die. So let's just have a brief look at these tabs. Let me get somewhere so that I can see what's going on in case somebody comes to be mean to me, and let me just make sure I've chosen my station. Yeah, okay. So I need to be able to see whether I'm being shot. Okay, what's important to know about these tabs and columns is these 4 here are global settings. They are settings that will apply to everything, no matter what you do. When you save a tab, all you're actually saving is these filters and states. So first thing, we'll just look at appearance. This is the one you changed. This is where you unfucked your overview, and what to remember about this is a priority list. So when something new comes into space, for instance this Ibis, wherever he is there, it'll start down the list to decide what you see. So it's going to have a look. Is he at war with us? No. Okay. Is he at war with our militia? No. Is he this? Is he this? And he'll keep going down until it finds something that's true. And this guy is either going to be, he's got a neutral standing with us, or he's got no standing. I think he's probably got no standing, and the way we can check is just change his colour. Let's change it to dark turquoise. Yeah, so now you'll see we've changed him, and we see that because he has no standing. I just tend to leave them all white, which is in fact grey. The background tab again will do exactly the same, and it'll show you at the moment, so we know he has no standing, that's why it's showing grey. But if I was to change that to purple, we'll see that it changes the background tab, because it's gone through all of these, it's decided none of them account apart from he's got no standing. So that's how that works. That's what you see in your overview and also your brackets, which I'll come to. Columns, this just displays what you see in these columns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for instance, in my very first column, I'll see the icon, which is, you know, what state he's in, how he applies to my filters. Then I'll see the distance away that somebody is. I will see the name of the item or the name of the person. I'll see the type it is, which is going to be, you know, what ship it is and things like that. Tag is something that the FCs can do. They can tag something up so that we know what the primary is. It's quite confusing, quite hard. I don't think we ever really use it. And these other stuff, this will become more important the further you get into Eve. I usually try and see velocity just so I know whether somebody's coming close to me. I know I'm stationary, and because his velocity is 0, I know he's stationary. All of a sudden, if he was to start coming at me, then I know whether to move or not. Radial, transversal and angular, they're all sort of advanced stuff to know whether you're circling in them, what angle you're approaching, whether your guns are going to work. Far too confusing for me to worry about at the moment. The ships tab is just tells you when you mouse over them, it'll give you some information. So you'll notice that if I mouse over him, it'll tell you stuff in space, and it'll also tell you stuff on the overview. I tend not to arse about with that too much. Doesn't make an awful lot of sense. I generally just look at the colour. Overview tabs. This one's quite important. You have two things, I guess, with the overviews. You'll have your overviews panel or your overviews window, and you'll also have a bracket profile. Brackets is what you see in space. Sorry, just checking to make sure nobody's coming near me. Brackets is what you see in space. So for instance, if I go to basic travel, you see how all of a sudden all of this stuff lit up. If I go to main, you'll see how they disappear. So that's what brackets are. Generally you'll want them to fit your own style. So for my basic travel tab, I don't want to see all the stuff inside that window. I just want to see the basics. But in space, it's quite handy sometimes if somebody warps off and you see him go in this direction, you know they're going to be in one of those places. For my PvP tabs and all of that, I try and keep them more or less the same, so I see the same thing in space. But that's all it is. It just shows you what's in space and what you see in your window. MISC you've already done. You don't really need to do much about that. So filters. Filters is what you're going to see, what's going to show up in this tab. So and that will be dependent on what you're doing. So on basic travel, you'll notice I still have stations on there, so you'll see it has a check in it, so it's going to show me stations. It has stargates and stuff, which I think is under structures. No, it's probably in under entities. The only thing that I'm going to suggest you change for now is in your main tab, which is going to be your you know, your faction warfare thing. I've changed mine because I need to see capture points, which by default is not checked. This is the timer clock when we're inside a beacon, or whatever you want to call it. We're inside a faction warfare novice or a small. I like to see that, and I also like to see the NPCs that are poignant to which bit of space we're in at the moment. So I want to see the Caldari stuff and I want to see the Glanty stuff, so I highlighted that. Have a mess around with all of this. What you will also see, and is quite important, is the states. So for instance, oh hello, right, I've got this guy highlighted in yellow, so it means he's got a crap standing and he's probably a pirate. He's gone. Okay. The reason he showed up yellow is because he's one of these guys. He's got a status below 5, he's a criminal or a suspect. He wasn't flashing, he was showing me that, so he's just a suspect. If he was flashing, then I know he's a criminal and I can kill him. Well, or I can die to him is more likely what's going to happen. Right, the states tab just shows you when you're messing around. So in PvP, this is where I'm fighting stuff. I don't need to see if he has an excellent standing, a good standing, so he won't show up on my overview at all. If he's an ally, he won't show up at all. On my friendlies tab, which is I want to see my friendly guys, good standing, excellent standing, he's in my core, that's going to show up. But on my friendlies tab, I'm not going to see any bad guys. So bad standing, I'm not going to see. At war with our corporation, I'm not going to see him. So that's what the states is, and that decides what you see in there. I know it's been a bit long and drawn out. I hope it helps you to at least make a start on getting your overview sorted. And best of luck. Any questions? Post them on the forums. Cool. Cheers, guys.